Hey guys, well, I know it's kind of bright in here. I'm doing a video at night and I've never done one at night before. And I kind of wanted to talk to you about um, what I got, like my creamer I got yesterday, which really, I mean, it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. It was okay, but I like it to be more chocolatey. And my favorite is the Hershey creamer, the caramel chocolate. I think it's International Coffees. It's really good if you have not tried it, and I usually go back to that one. But I still want to try the butter pecan, which is the other flavor. And this one, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not exactly what I thought. Not as chocolatey as I thought. And today, I wanted to talk about some subjects that some of the things I have written in my journals that I mentioned in another video. I thought it'd be fun to pull some topics and maybe just kind of discuss them. I'm not making a very long video because I don't know if I can make over 10 minutes. I mean, I don't know, but I uploaded about 116 videos out of 400 from my phone to my computer because according to my phone, it was running out of room. But it wouldn't upload beyond that. I'd plug it into my computer and it would say device, no photos found on this device. I totally don't know what's going on. So if any of you are smart with computers and has any suggestions or can tell me, just let me know, because it's kind of frustrating. But anyway, I'm in pretty good shape right now. I've let go of a lot of photos um, and put them on my computer, which has helped free up a lot of space. So moving right along, let's talk about my Swiffer thing. You know, I told you I was going to use a cloth diaper on like a Swiffer stick or mop thing, and I had to cut. Those diapers are pretty good size, so I cut it and made it fit the Swiffer, and it did pretty good. It probably could have been a little tighter on there. You know how you have to poke them in the hose, but I actually put some like Mr. Clean or something, some new fragrance I got in some water and wrung it out and attached it and mopped my kitchen. And you know, it did a pretty good job and it never came off of the mop. I thought it would come off the Swiffer thing, but it never did. And the diapers were kind of high. Like I said, they were like over $12, but you know, you're going to rewash them and reuse them. And if you cut it and it's too short for your Swiffer thing, you can always use it as a rag. They're great rags. I was dusting with one a while ago. Very absorbent, very good. Um, and like I said, just wash them and reuse them, wash them, reuse them. And if you compare that to the Swiffer, I don't know how many, or I don't remember how many wet mops are in a Swiffer package, but I think you're ahead of the game. But I like Swiffer too, so it's not like I'm just totally probably going to quit buying Swiffer because I love the Gain scent. But my favorite is that lavender vanilla. Ugh, you mop your floor with that and it smells so wonderful. And let's see. Okay, one of the things I wanted to talk about. Okay, let me see. What was I doing? Okay, a biblical menu. I had written down in one of my journals different foods from the Bible that, you know, some things they ate. And I'm a list maker, so I enjoy doing stuff like that. So I had written down some things, and some of the things I have written down here that maybe you could use as part of a meal and call it a biblical meal just for the fun of it. I mean, but I have mint tea. I have deviled eggs, which obviously deviled eggs is not biblical, but eggs is on there. Okay, so I'm just making a menu out of the ingredients. Apple pie, watermelon, pita bread, olives, baked beans, pickled cucumbers, and fish. And I'm sure you could probably find more. What this reminded me of when I did this, I remember back, I don't know, probably in the 70s, they had a cake recipe. And to find out how much, like it might say a cup of like Matthew 24:10 or something. I mean, I'm just coming up with that. I have no idea what that is. And it would give you, and a food would be mentioned there. So, for instance, if in your scripture that you read it had the word almonds, you'd know that you were supposed to do a cup of almonds. So you kind of search the Bible for all your ingredients according to what was in the scripture. So it's kind of neat. I never did it. It was kind of there was kind of a lot of ingredients, the best I remember, and probably they weren't as available back then, and were probably kind of high. But it kind of sounds fun. It kind of sounds like a spice cake type thing, maybe. But it sounded good. And let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Oh, canning. Now, I don't can. I do have a dehydrator, and my mom used to can all the time, and she made where we live there was plum bushes, and these are the wild plums, not like the big plums that you buy in the store, but the little wild plums, and they're called sand plums. And she made jelly, and it's a tart, sweet jelly, the best you will ever eat in your life, especially on biscuits, homemade biscuits. She made homemade biscuits, and she'd have jars of that. But I can remember in the summertime when she was a busy bee in the kitchen, just because everything came in at one time, and so she canned black-eyed peas and all that kind of stuff. And I can remember sitting out on the porch with my dad and snapping peas, and I loved doing that. They were so good. And I can remember many a meal where it would almost be a vegetarian meal because we had so much vegetables. We'd have fresh corn on the cob, fresh tomatoes, cantaloupe, watermelon. It was just so fresh and so good. And I probably really didn't appreciate it like I do now. But I was going to read something I had in my journal here. And I think they're talking about, probably somebody's talking about their mother, but I want to read a little bit about this. I thought it was neat. It probably came out of one of those nostalgic, like Good Old Days, or one of those magazines. But it says, she always kept a garden. We raised corn, peas, beans, beets, turnips, squash, carrots, lettuce, watermelons, tomatoes, and potatoes. Dad called them maters and taters. Mother liked Burpee seeds. At one home, we had a pantry with lots of jars of vegetables and some of peaches. Mother was always particular that her food looked appetizing in the jars. And I was just telling my mom today, I remember going to an auction with my dad many years ago. And this house, I guess they were selling it, but in this cellar, they had jars of canned food. This woman had canned everything. There was cherries, everything. And I just remember being so fascinated by that. Because let's face it, if you can can your own food, you're going to get really fresh food in the wintertime. And it's probably a lot cheaper. After your initial cost of investing in your canning equipment and all that, it's probably going to pay for itself. But and I have a friend who's a big gardener, and she goes to farmers markets and things like that, and so she's helped me a lot with advice. But you should be proud of me. I have 2 tomatoes. Yeah, I didn't hardly have, I just had very few last year, but it's starting to put on, and I get excited over that because I am bound and determined I'm going to grow tomatoes. And I haven't had any luck with them, but I don't want to give up with them. And my friend she's told me, give them a haircut and put Epsom salts, because she told me they never used Miracle-Gro, that they used Epsom salts when she was growing up. It's a fertilizer. It will work as a fertilizer. You just don't get it on the leaves because it can burn your leaves. But I did that, and they'll come back, but they won't produce. Like last year, I had beautiful tomatoes when I did what she told me, but they didn't do. But she lives in a different state, so everything, I think, is kind of different. Your climate, maybe your soil, all that. And I have, let's see, a cucumber plant and a strawberry plant that's putting on one strawberry, and then I had really good green onions. And when I first got these onions, I'd never planted green onions, and I pick them green. I don't wait for them to mature because I like green onions. I like both, but I just go ahead and pick them green, and they're wonderful. But what happened is the tops were growing real tall, but the bottoms would be like the size of a pencil, the onion part. And I ran into a lady at Walmart one day, and she was putting groceries in her car, and she told me, she said, step on them, kind of break them away a little bit from the bulb, and said that way it won't go, the growing won't go into the stem, and it'll start going into the bulb. So I went out and stepped on them, and that worked. It took a while, but I have wonderful onions, wonderful size. Some of them are pretty big, and they're almost coming up out of the ground, because you know they're pretty good size. So I'm proud of my miniature garden, if you want to call it that. And I've had green beans, but not enough to do anything with, but enough just to steam for me, which I'm fine with that. And then one year I had got a tomato. I don't remember if I bought it or someone gave it to me, or it was one I grew. And I dehydrated it, and it was kind of leathery, and I put it in a jar in the refrigerator. And each time I would fix like spaghetti sauce or chili or stew or something like that, I would get a handful of those and put them in there. And oh my goodness, because they were fresh tomatoes. You know, tomatoes in the summer are a lot different than ones in the winter. Ones in the winter aren't really good, but these were rich tasting and fresh, and they had such flavor. So if you have a chance to dehydrate, go for it. You know, you can dehydrate bananas, you can make jerky, you can, and I don't do it a lot, but I do like to do it sometimes. So, you know, I probably won't have to worry about preserving anything. I'm going to have enough. But if I have enough just for us to enjoy, I don't really care if I have a bounty. Of course, I share with neighbors, and they share with me, so that's a good thing, too. And I have a neighbor across the street, and he has a green thumb, and yet my tomatoes won't grow. But I'm not giving up. And I also planted some heirloom tomatoes around that tomato plant. And I noticed there's tomatoes coming up. And I planted, I think, a cherry tomato, or maybe the plant I bought was a cherry tomato. I don't remember. But anyway, I can see this is getting longer than I thought it was. I just wanted to make a video like this, and I'll be bringing up some more topics and open the room for discussion or comments, and that just helps me gives me an idea on maybe another video. So if you have a comment on anything I've talked about, or an idea or a story, please comment and let me know, and maybe we can go with that and make it, help me to have an idea for a video. And because I want these to be creative, I don't want to get in a rut where I become boring. So, like I said, I do a lot of different things, and I still love the new products. I still am excited about the idea of going and getting more new stuff, and, it's just not quite time. I've got plenty of stuff. I can't think if there's anything that you haven't seen. I mean, what I bought yesterday was nothing new, but I bought pecani sauce. Pistachios were rolled back at Walmart, which I love them. And, of course, I got the cloth diapers. And I haven't made my homemade laundry soap yet. But I tried one of those fell naphtha bars. I put it in a sock, and I tried to wash dishes, with it. Just that, no dishwashing liquid. And it cleaned them, but the only thing when you do that, it leaves a film. I don't know that it's a soapy film, but I think it's like the fat in the soap or something. I think that's doing that. So I decided I wouldn't do it for that, and I would just keep it next to my wash machine and use that bar, wet it, and use it for a stain remover. Run it over the clothes if they had stains, and you can do that. And so anyway, that little project didn't work out. I saw a video where somebody chopped up bits of it and put it in water, and instead of using dishwashing liquid, but even their stuff had a film. I mean, it wipes off, but it leaves a greasy, and especially on anything plastic, it doesn't do well. So maybe it did better back in the day when they used it. I think it's a pretty old brand, and maybe people just didn't used to have plastic, so it may have done better then. But I'm not going to do it that way. Like I said, I'll just use it for a stain remover thing. But anyway, I'm rambling. So if you have any ideas, just let me know. I'm limited on what I can show you as far as me doing something and filming it, because I'm filming one-handed. I'm filming with my phone. Sorry. So, but if you have a topic you would like me to make a video on and discuss, and I think that'd be so much fun. So anyway, I'm going to say goodnight to you and try to get this uploaded tonight. And it didn't cut my video off. So hopefully, I don't know, we can figure something out with all that. But anyway, you have a good night, and I will talk to you later, and keep making videos and comment. And I love seeing people comment. That makes me very excited. And just have a good evening and a good day tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.